Hey guys, I thought I should make one more DLC update video before we get confirmation out of Gamescom. There have been a few news stories and interviews that have come out that are definitely worth talking about. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at HayderHype and let's get right into it. Let's start with an interview from Ryan Central. He's another awesome Borderlands creator, and he was able to interview Chris Brock, one of the producers for Borderlands 3. During the interview, Chris does confirm that PAX West will show the first 30 to 90 days of post-launch content for Borderlands 3. So let's play the clip.
But the next thing is going to be...
The next thing's PAX.
PAX.
And,
is that where we found out the rest, or is there still stuff beyond?
That's where I think that's where you find out endgame, more endgame, and kind of the first like 30 to 90 days of post-launch stuff.
Okay.
Past that, I think the next thing's Paris Games Week.
Now, in Take-Two's original quarterly earnings report, they said that Borderlands 3 will be at both Gamescom and PAX West, where they will share details on post-launch content that will keep the players engaged with new experiences well past September 13th. Originally, in my first video, I was looking at this optimistically and thought Gamescom, well now since we know they didn't show anything at Gamescom, and it looks like PAX West was always their real plan. PAX West starts on August 30th and goes until September 2nd, and Gearbox's event is on that Friday, the very first day, August 30th, from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. local time in the main theater. And the description for the event reads, quote, "This is your opportunity to get a closer look at the upcoming Borderlands 3, along with the latest news and updates from Gearbox Publishing, Risk of Rain 2, We Happy Few, Homeworld Remastered. We will have never-before-seen reveals, exclusives, and surprises, so don't miss out." Now, another important note is that the first 30 to 90 days of post-launch content might not sound that exciting, but looking back at Borderlands 2, Captain Scarlet and her Pirate's Booty DLC for that game was launched only 1 month after the initial release of the game. So this was definitely Gearbox's way of saying the first campaign DLC will be announced or shown, because it normally always happens within the first 30 to 90 days. They just didn't want to outright say it. Moving on to an interview with WCCF Tech, they were able to talk with the co-lead writers for Borderlands 3, Danny Homan and Sam Winkler, about working on the upcoming DLC itself. The first question was, quote, "Gearbox is taking a fairly traditional approach to post-launch support with a series of DLC expansion packs. What can we expect from these?" Danny replied saying, quote, "We're working on 4 DLC packs, which will be crazy and varied. In Borderlands 2, we had a pirate adventure and a D&D fantasy thing. For Borderlands 3, we're continuing that tradition with some interesting, bizarre genre takes on DLC." And the follow-up question was, quote, "So will the DLC just remix stuff from the core game, or are we getting all new content?" Danny replied again saying, quote, "No, it will be new locations, new places, new characters, returning old characters you didn't meet or see enough of in the main game." Now, Gearbox has already confirmed they did not include every character from past games in Borderlands 3 and did not want to add characters just for the sake of adding them. There needed to be purpose if they were going to add old characters back into the game. I recently made a video with friend of the channel Epic NNG, and we discussed the possibility of a Krieg DLC. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to go check it out. And I think that's probably what Gearbox was thinking by holding out some of these characters. A Krieg DLC, maybe a Gage DLC, a lot of these characters that have backgrounds people do want to know more about. And the last article I want to mention comes from DualShockers, where they also interviewed the co-lead writers for Borderlands 3, Danny Homan and Sam Winkler. I'll just read what this one has to say. So it says, quote, "Speaking in an interview with DualShockers, Borderlands 3's lead writers Danny Homan and Sam Winkler gave us their insight on writing and expanding on the series story with its third main installment. Specifically, we asked them a bit more on what to expect from the game's DLC, which will include 4 campaign-based add-ons that will take players through new stories and areas as in past Borderlands games." Winkler explained that the team is already working on the DLC for Borderlands 3 and simply said that they will be big and a lot of fun, while Homan added that the DLC campaigns are also different from one another. Winkler expressed that the DLC campaigns for Borderlands 3, the stories told there will allow the team to get a little more weird and a little more focused. This is especially in comparison to the main game, as Winkler stated that Borderlands 3 is the biggest Borderlands game that has ever been made. There's a lot crammed into it. Given the size of the main game, Winkler added that compared to the huge galaxy-spanning story arc that will be told in Borderlands 3 proper, the DLC will give the team a chance to focus on a couple of different characters and transform them. Go with a different aesthetic, go with a different vibe, and play with how you do storytelling. While the team couldn't give specifics just yet on what any of those stories will look like, Winkler said that we are really excited about what those DLCs are going to be. So from the wording of that interview, it sounds like they already have an idea for all 4 DLCs, which makes sense given the quick turnaround with how fast these have to have been made, and we know that they probably have been done writing the main game for a while now, so it makes sense that they would start thinking and coming up with ideas and lines for these next DLCs. The line about focusing on a couple different characters also stuck out to me and has me thinking if, once again, this is how they will bring back some of those characters who didn't make the cut in Borderlands 3 by giving them a titled DLC. Either way, I'm really excited to see what they are able to show at PAX West, if it's just a title card and maybe some concept art, or if they will give us maybe a little bit of a trailer, just a teaser, something like that. I'm not really sure. That's where I'm going to end this video though. Make sure to like and share, subscribe for daily Borderlands news, and I will see you guys in the next one.